Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the AEW Full Gear post show. MJF is the new AEW World Champion. Jamie Hayter is the new Women's Champion. And the Death Triangle, still the Trios Champions. Let's break down Full Gear.
Start.
In the streets, MJF. Johnny North.
There he is.
Hey.
It worked. Thank goodness. I think it was going to work for a second.
Intro.
Oh my God. I was worried. There's a slight delay. Hey, buddy.
But we're here. We're here. We survived.
Made it.
We're here. We survived Full Gear. I got a t-shirt. I survived AEW Full Gear 2022.
Thrown upside down several times.
Oh my God. We made it.
That wasn't that long, though.
No, it was 4 hours.
Plus pre-show? Or including pre-show?
Yeah, plus the pre-show's 5 hours. I mean,
Right.
It took a while. Wasn't
It's
short.
not 1 in the morning yet right now, so that's all right.
Yeah,
It's
not yet.
improvements.
It will be soon. What'd you think? You like it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it overall. Like, I mean, wasn't the best pay-per-view I've ever seen, but thought it was solid overall. You know, some ups, some downs, but, I think it, for the most part, delivered. Match-wise, I liked more matches than didn't like matches, so there's no big complaints, really.
Okay, let's get it started. Let's kick it off. Let's do it right. On 10, what are you giving AEW Full Gear 2022? We're already seeing members of the team. Jason Pete is in the chat. Shout out Jason. Shout out Harold Schneider. He's given us a good jumping off point, 7 on 10. You've seen it on the screen there. Shout out to Harold. Join.ringsidereport.net. If you haven't already, support the Ringside Report Network. And subscribe if you haven't already. At the minimum, subscribe. It costs you nothing. Come on. What are you waiting for? Johnny, Harold's giving it a 7 on 10. That seems to be where I am on this thing. I thought it was all right. I liked it. Didn't love it. Liked it, though. I liked it. It was a good pay-per-view. We saw some surprising results. We saw some solid wrestling matches. And it was fine. It was fine. It was good. But I wouldn't say it was stupendous. Not like WrestleMania, pal. That was stupendous.
The most stupendous.
No. I think, it was a good show, but 7, I'd say 7.5. I'd say 7.5 because everything was pretty good and we did see some twists and turns that I wasn't expecting. So I'm going to go 7.5 on 10. I thought it was solid. I'm seeing a lot of our friends in the chat. Darth Gillis, I don't know how to pronounce, but Darth giving it an 8 on 10. Doug Hepburn, member of the team, gives it an 8 on 10. Couple of surprise finishes. Yeah. I got 7.5. It didn't feel big. It didn't feel like a big deal. Nothing felt like a major deal. Just kind of felt like a show, a wrestling show. It didn't have that big fight feel that they talk about. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel big buzz for anything. I think that has a lot to do with how they booked the matches coming into this pay-per-view. Not a lot of big build, big intrigue in a lot of these. A lot of them you kind of saw coming. The main ones especially. MJF and Moxley, that was the main one, and we all kind of expected MJF to walk away with it. So 7.5 on 10 for me. I thought it was solid. Not their best pay-per-view, but certainly not their worst. Decent. What do you think?
I think Harold's right. I'd give it a 7. I think 7, pretty much how I feel. Like, I think it was better than most of the pay-per-views I think they've done this year. It might be their best one, possibly. But, again, it wasn't perfect. There were some things that I thought could have been better, but overall, I think I got my money's worth. So I think a 7 is definitely accurate.
Yeah.
What do you-
I think I'll join the chorus. I think
Oh,
I'll
baby.
also say a 7.
Wow,
know,
usually
Sorry,
very low.
I just showed him a picture of Kelsey Grammer, and I was
we've
trying
been we've been making Frazier jokes all night.
we've been talking about Frazier all night while we're watching this pay-per-view. I think that's where the 0.5 comes for me.
Yeah, a little extra Frazier.
AEW gets 7, but the 0.5 is for all the good Frazier jokes we've been making while watching this pay-per-view. Toss
dear
salads and scrambled eggs. Oh, dear Lord. Hey, you showed me a video of Frazier falling off a stage. Really cracked me up. Sorry.
Yeah, a 7. Yeah,
It's old.
maybe.
Yeah.
I think same metric for you. I think like 6.5 for the wrestling, 0.5 for Frazier.
You got to give a little extra for Frazier.
Well,
Look at that
now
face.
we're looking at
Toss
Instagram.
salads and scrambled eggs. Ha ha ha.
Be a great manager.
Sorry.
Yeah, similar feelings. Just solid wrestling, but I never really felt emotionally invested into the matches, even though a lot of these matches had a long time coming feel. You know, MJF finally, after, thinking he was done with the company, coming back and getting a title shot. Saraya, her first match in almost 10 years.
Oh, looks so good.
And she was
5
solid.
years.
The Acclaim defending their title.
Yeah.
The Elite returning. The Samoa Joe. Like, there's so many things. Jamie Hayter, after always being like the side character, finally getting a moment in the spotlight. A lot of things that felt like would have been like a cathartic release, that long time coming. That really we try to get out of these pay-per-views. That's what we really want. That feeling of like this storyline is paid off. But due to the shoddy booking, like you were talking about, we just didn't feel that. It felt very passive. Just kind of like, all right, now this is over. Here comes the next thing. There was never like that resolution to a story that you really want from these pay-per-views.
I didn't go into any of the matches thinking, oh, it's this one now. This is going to be crazy. There wasn't a single match where before it happened, I was like, ooh, it was every match that I saw was like, oh, okay, it's this now. It wasn't like, yes, here we go. Let's see. It wasn't. There was no here we go moment. It was always like, oh, okay, this match now. Okay, this match now. Cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what's next? Oh, this one. Okay, this will be all right. There was no big anticipation. Not the fault of the wrestlers. Maybe the fault of the booking. But I thought, the wrestling overall was pretty good. Like you said, a lot of surprises. Samoa Joe walking away with the TNT title. Now the TNT and Ring of Honor television champion, got both belts. Jamie Hayter becoming the new AEW Women's Champion. MJF getting help from William Regal, as we kind of suspected. Let's start there in the main event. I want to get your match of the night as well. I'm seeing a lot of scores on 10. Alex Tarris giving it a 5.5 on 10. Not too happy with this one. Yeah. So there you go. Match of the night as well. Want to know your match of the night? Let me know in the chat. We'll get to that in just a little bit. I want to talk about the main event, MJF and Jon Moxley. MJF hit a nice tombstone pile driver on the apron, sold a knee injury during the match. Moxley hit a pile driver off the apron through a table that was pretty devastating on MJF. The top rope paradigm shift, too, that Moxley hit on MJF was pretty nice. Looked kind of dangerous. Nice move. MJF grabbing the bottom rope to break the count at 2. And eventually the ref comes down. Ref falls. MJF uses him as a human shield. Down goes the ref. MJF grabs a diamond ring from his trunks. About to use it. William Regal comes out. Regal's like, no, let's not use this. Let's use these brass knuckles, sunshine.
Power of the punch.
Power of the
Not
punch.
quite.
All right, well,
Exactly
you tell me
happened
what
like
happened
that.
then. You give me your account
It was
of what happened.
don't use the ring, and he didn't use the ring, and then another referee got knocked out, and then he passed him the brass knucks,
Oh, yeah.
and then he used the brass
Second
knucks.
rough bump.
MJF, don't
Right.
wear the ring. I know it's very tempting. What is that?
That's
Frodo, don't wear the ring. Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
All right. So Regal gives MJF the brass knuckles to use against his own man, Jon Moxley, which we did say was a possibility when we were previewing this thing. Like, I could see that happening. And it did happen. So MJF able to beat Moxley, pin him, and become the new AEW World Champion.
It's interesting.
MJF now with Regal.
But not with the Blackpool Combat Club.
I don't think so.
Well, we don't know that yet. It's
Well,
Dynamite for that.
Okay, but we saw Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli wrestle tonight in a Fatal 4-Way that I thought was excellent. And they were wrestling there with Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Jericho and Guevara got into it. Claudio and Danielson got into it. They were wrestling as teams at first, but eventually it all kind of broke down and everybody was wrestling each other like a Fatal 4-Way normally, kind of devolves into. And I didn't see anything from Claudio and Bryan that was more than competition trying to win the belt.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see real dissension in the ranks, real hatred between those two. And even Jericho and Sammy Guevara, Sammy trying to beat Jericho a few times. Jericho cutting a promo after the match, doing a backstage promo saying, there's no beef with Sammy Guevara. It was just friendly competition, had nothing to do with, any kind of animosity or breakup of the...
He was going by the rules.
Yeah, the Jericho Appreciation Society. So I expect the same type of deal over with the Blackpool Club, where Danielson and Claudio are still buddies, and I would see no reason why they would turn on Jon Moxley unless their allegiance really is with William Regal, and Regal has decided to kick Moxley out of the group, which is a possibility. But I didn't see anything between Claudio and Bryan that made me think that they would be not friends anymore, but I guess we don't know where their allegiances lie. They could be with Regal, siding with MJF and Regal, or maybe they're siding with Team Moxley. I don't know. But definitely a breakup between Regal and Moxley tonight, at least, right?
Yeah. But if they continue doing it without Regal, why would they call themselves Blackpool?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
It's like if the Jericho Appreciation Society kicked out Chris Jericho and kept calling themselves the Jericho Appreciation Society. I think they should do that, actually. Be like, yeah, we don't like you now. We just like the idea that we had of you before we met you.
Yeah.
You were a great wrestler, but now you're kind of this weird guy. So we appreciate you.
We love the city of Blackpool.
Yeah. We really like Blackpool, but we don't like you, William Regal, you jerk. Blackpool's least favorite son.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. Honestly, I don't think it really matters either way. I think you could do MJF with the group, with Regal and Claudio and Bryan and Wheeler maybe, and do something there. But you could also do MJF just with Regal.
Mm-hmm.
I think either way works. You have a preference?
Well, I just feel Bryan, he still comes up the heel tunnel. So it's kind of to say that he's never really actually turned face, in a sense. He's always been somewhat of a jerk. And, to me, that kind of shows that he sides more with Regal, who is a jerk, obviously. So.
Oh.
And he could have, obviously, some hatred towards Moxley. I mean, we saw it a little bit when he beat him for the AEW Championship in the finals last time. There was a little bit of animosity. So, yeah, I could see them breaking away from Moxley.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I could see a break. I mean, Bryan seemed to have a problem with Wheeler, too. Maybe Wheeler goes with Moxley, and Claudio and Bryan stay with Regal and MJF.
It's possible. I remember, I don't know if this is a coincidence or long-term booking, but if you remember, the first time Regal cut a promo, he was like, Bryan Danielson, the greatest wrestler of all time, and Jon Moxley, he's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of thinking at the time, is there is Moxley not Regal's favorite, or is he, because he doesn't have much to say about him accolades-wise. I don't know if that's, long-term. I never really saw it throughout the Blackpool Combat Club storyline, but, they could make it if they wanted to, like a thing of Regal saying, "I never really liked you."
I never saw Moxley fitting into the group as well as Claudio. You know,
Wheeler.
with Regal, Wheeler even, you know, to a certain extent does and doesn't, but yeah, I don't know. I think MJF, you know, finally becomes the AEW World Champion. I thought the match was all right. It wasn't my match of the night, but it was fine. Good, solid match. We got the finish that we expected. You know, there were a lot of rumors that Regal was going to turn on Moxley, and then when it happened, I wasn't really surprised. So, you know, maybe if I hadn't anticipated that, it would have been more fun, but I thought the match was good. We got the outcome that, you know, we knew was going to go down. MJF as the new AEW champion, and that's fine, and we'll see where he goes from here with it, you know? I'm a big fan of MJF. I think he's fantastic. So I thought the match was good, not great, and not my match of the night. What'd you think of the main event? And also, John, what is your match of the night? I doubt it's that.
It's not that, but again, I also thought it was very good. I think we got to give a lot of credit to Moxley because on the show, rarely credit is given to Moxley, but I thought he was actually fantastic tonight because this match, like, it's usually MJF's the heel kind of jerk in the match, but it was actually Moxley was like right from the go, like when he came out in the entranceway, giving people the finger, you know, giving someone like a thumbs up, like sarcastically with the MJF scarf in his face. And like pretty much from the bell to the end, like he was always playing up the heel. Just a little bit of like, you know, playing up to the crowd, you know, and putting a good beat down on MJF. Like MJF had to fight from behind like the whole match. Like I really like the story that they told in this match. Again, maybe not the best match of the night, but for the main event, it definitely did the trick.
Yeah, it wasn't a disappointment. You know, it was a solid match. I'd say Moxley even carried the match. You know, he did a really good job.
And that's not usually something John Moxley does.
Exactly.
Historically, especially.
Yeah.
I liked it too. I also want to note, John, I know you didn't quite catch it. John, did you catch in MJF's entrance? There was like a lady on the aisle, and MJF stopped in front of her. They exchanged some words, and all of a sudden MJF just shoved his head into her bosom and went like this, shook his head around. Did you notice that?
I did. I didn't catch that actually. No.
Oh, you didn't catch that? Okay, maybe.
No.
Maybe it was your imagination. I didn't see it either.
It was.
I'd left the room.
It definitely
at the time.
happened, and I was just wondering what was up with that.
It's probably a friend. You know, they're in Jersey,
so.
right? He's not far from there.
I want to hope it was a friend and not just a stranger.
Who knows?
Well, I mean,
maybe she was asking him to do it, and he obliged. Who knows?
It was
Nick
a
Jackson
surprise.
just drink someone's drink for no reason, like.
Yeah, Nick Jackson took a drink from somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was.
Liquid. But yeah, no, it was good. The pile driver spot was well done. I liked MJF kind of selling the knee from the tombstone. You thought maybe it was a bit over the top.
Yeah, though, just the way he was yelling and carrying on, it didn't seem real. It seemed like too much.
I thought he was kind of like panicking, like he was really hurt. So like I believed for a second, like, oh, is he? But then he wasn't. Then he was fine.
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment though, made me believe.
Solid main event overall. Match of the night, Johnny North. What is yours? I'm having a hard time picking. I thought we saw some good matches tonight. A couple of them stood out to me. What was your favorite?
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I got a couple that stood out, but I'm like, which one was my favorite? Like, I really liked the steel cage match. I really liked like just the action of that. I thought Jungle Boy being a bloody mess, that's fantastic. We need that more in steel cage matches. And although I was a little like upset with the finish, that's the only reason why I put some doubt in this is my favorite match. Like I still get why they did what they did in that match. Just the execution could have been a bit better, but still very good. I like Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter, hard-hitting match. It's tough. I don't know which one. It's between those two, I think. But I think I might go with the women's match.
There you go. I thought you were going to not give me an answer there. I was getting upset.
Really, it's that finish. That finish kind of screwed me up because I really didn't like Jungle Boy just jumping up right away after doing an elbow drop off top of the steel cage. Like that was ridiculous. That like I get he's young and all that, but that should never happen. Like he could have just like dragged himself and put it on the submission, put on the snare trap. That would have been so much better, but I guess he doesn't understand how that works or something.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, not great psychology. Didn't quite sell it. He was a bit ebullient after that. Was it through a table also?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, super spot.
I thought that match was okay, but I didn't like that was the opening match on the pay-per-view. Jungle Boy got the win over Luchasaurus after an elbow drop from the top of the cage through a table, and then he pinned Luchasaurus. But at a certain point,
no, he didn't pin him. He put him in the snare trap and he tapped him out.
Oh, he did, eh? It wasn't a. Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
No. But that's the thing too. He popped up right away to put the submission on. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, why not just pin him?
Yeah, that too.
Christian took the cage key door and opened it up so Luchasaurus could get out and get chairs and tables and bring him into the ring. And then both guys were just outside the ring at one point, and I thought, isn't the match over?
No, it's not WWE. It's WWE rules.
So in AEW cage matches, they can only end by pinfall or submission inside the cage?
That's right, yeah.
What happens if you just leave the cage?
Well, the match still goes on.
And you walk
same thing
away.
happened in WCW.
What if you're a guy who's scared, you know, one of those cowardly heels that we see all the time in wrestling, and you decide to climb out of the cage while your opponent is down or distracted or whatever? You get out of the cage and you run away. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of a steel cage match? Because to me, the purpose of a steel cage match is to lock your opponent in the cage with you so he cannot escape. Because usually a steel cage match occurs when there is one babyface and one cowardly heel who keeps running away, and the way that you stop him from running away is by locking him in that steel cage. So
that's one way of looking at it, yeah.
Right? So in that situation, if you have a cowardly heel opponent, you lock him in the steel cage in AEW, he climbs the cage, he runs out, he runs away, completely defeats the purpose of the steel cage because the match ends and you don't get your comeuppance on the guy. You know what I'm saying?
I do
you
know.
Understand what I'm saying?
Why lock the cage door?
Why lock the cage door at all? Why not just leave the cage open? If the cage is just a place, if the cage is just a thing that surrounds the ring and has no bearing on the finish of the actual match, what is the point of the cage? If you can go in and out of the cage, you can bring weapons in and out of the cage, what is the real point to the cage? So you can... Like, why did Jungle Boy climb up to the top of that cage? Especially if he's going to hit an elbow drop and then apply a submission maneuver to win a match. It just doesn't make sense. There's a lack of logic in AEW that is consistent throughout their product that takes away from what their wrestling shows should be about. And sacrifices logic to do big, fancy spots that look nice, that make the crowd go, ooh, look, he fell off a high thing. They sacrifice logic for big, dumb spots. And that's what this cage match was to me. Like, it was okay. It was fine. But the psychology of it was non-existent. So.
Well, you just have to understand the way cage matches work, though. It's not in WWE. Like, if you escape, you win. But if you escape in this one, you can't win on the outside.
So?
And this has happened before where someone in a cage match, like Lex Luger escaped the cage against Bruiser Brody, and he ran away. That was legit shoot. And the referee just had to, like, count him out or disqualify him because he had surrendered, right? Like, he left the match, so he lost the match. So yeah, that's what would happen. Someone would run away. You can't win the match unless you're in the ring.
But just the concept of a DQ or a count out in a match that's supposed to be brutal and violent like a cage match is just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's all a ridiculous
that's why they lock
concept.
The cage. That's why they lock the cage so that doesn't happen or it shouldn't happen.
You could climb out, though, quite easily.
You could, but it's not easy.
Should make it harder. Put barbed wire on the top of the cage so you can't climb out.
That'd be nice. Fine, sure.
I should do that.
That was a stipulation once. A barbed wire steel cage match?
Yeah, it's happened.
Like Mick Foley?
Yeah, of course.
Or JBL?
Yeah, but I think that was just some barbed wire attached to the cage that you could use as a weapon. It wasn't really. Anyways. Yeah, I thought the cage match was okay, but it was not one of my favorite matches on the card. The women's match definitely up there. The Jamie Hayter over Toni Storm I thought was really good. Jamie Hayter getting the win.
Finish, though, too, with that as well.
Why? The interference with Britt Baker?
Well, the interference is fine because like the referee was kind of like distracted a bit. That was fine. The problem is they exposed the turnbuckle pad, and the turnbuckle was exposed, and Jamie Hayter, like clearly with full intent, forced Storm's face into the turnbuckle exposed with the referee seeing that. That's a disqualification, and that led to the victory.
Nothing's a disqualification in AEW land.
It should be, though.
A lot of times it isn't. Jamie Hayter got the win over Toni Storm. I like the match. Toni was bleeding pretty good from her nose, I think. Nose or mouth, I don't know.
Each other.
Yeah, they were hitting each other real hard.
Yeah.
It's good. Good match. I was a little surprised to see Jamie Hayter win. But, I mean, hey, it's her time. It makes a lot of sense. She's there with Britt Baker. There's definitely going to be something down the road between those two. I'm good with it. I thought the match was good. I could see how it was your match of the night. It was solid. I'm, having trouble giving you my match of the night. I liked Death Triangle and the Elite a lot.
Yeah, I think that's mine.
It was good. I think I'm going to go with the 4-way. You know me. I'm a sucker for Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that match was really good. I really liked that.
That was really good, too.
Yeah. Chris Jericho getting the win over Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, and Sammy Guevara. Jericho hitting Claudio with the Judas effect for the win. Lots of great false finishes in this match. Lots.
Yeah.
Made me believe that Jericho wasn't going to win, which is hard to do when I was pretty convinced he was, but AEW gave us some surprise finishes tonight. A lot of them. Jericho was not a surprise, though. We did expect him to win, but didn't matter. The match was great. Those 4 guys. And, I mean, no disrespect to Sammy Guevara. He put on a hell of a show, but just extra special spotlight on Chris Jericho, Claudio Castagnoli, and Bryan Danielson because they are 3 of the greatest of all time, and to have them in the ring together is pretty special. Mm-hmm. So I was very happy to see that match. I thought the match was fantastic. Couldn't have asked for anything more. Perfect. Perfect 4-way. One of the best fatal 4-way matches you'll ever see. So for that is my match of the night. Name me a better 4-way.
All time?
Well, I remember that 4-way. It was Brock. I think it was Samoa Joe. Was it
Braun?
I want to say Yeah, Braun, I think.
And Seth?
And Roman, I think, yeah. SummerSlam? That was fantastic.
Or Battleground, maybe? Or
I think it was SummerSlam.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
That was a great 4-way.
All right. Well, you have to go back a couple of years there, all right? You have to go back.
Think of a tag team match of a 4-way that was good.
Yeah. This was a very good match. It's my match of the night. Chris Jericho over Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, and Sammy Guevara. So that's my match of the night. Johnny North going with Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter. What's your match of the night? What is your match of the night? Give me your match of the night on the chat. Harold Schneider says, I could have missed the Old Timers match. The Jeff Jarrett Sting match. Yeah, we'll talk about that match in a minute. I didn't love that match. There were some points of the match that I really liked, but then other points that I didn't really understand. Thank you, Harold, member for 19 consecutive months. Join.ringsidereport.net if you haven't already. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Just subscribe. We're trying to get up to 2,000 subscribers. We've been teetering on the brink for a little while, and I'm trying to get there. Help us get to 2,000 subscribers. If we can get there by the end of the show, that would be a Merry Christmas for all of us. Happy Hanukkah, baby. Subscribe, and you'll have a happy Hanukkah. Just like me and my brother and MJF and Bill Goldberg and Paul Heyman and Drake and all of our other fantastic. Well, he's not actually Jewish.
Oh, he's not.
No, his name is Bruno something. He's downtown Bruno. You know, he's not Jewish. Harvey Whippleman is not Jewish. Colt Cabana is Jewish.
Barry Horowitz?
I think Barry Horowitz is Jewish.
I think Barry Horowitz is Jewish.
His real name is Horowitz, I think so. So, yeah, happy Hanukkah to all my friends, MJF especially, new world champion. Not often we have world champions in professional wrestling, so
it's true.
Nice to see a Jewish world champion in pro wrestling. It doesn't happen too much. My buddy, MJF. Mazel tov, MJF. Johnny, and happy Hanukkah to you, too. I know you don't celebrate Hanukkah, but it's coming up at some point soon, and I'm excited already. It's Hanukkah season, baby.
It's your latkes.
MJF is champion just for Hanukkah season. I hope he wears that sweet Hanukkah suit that he wore last Hanukkah.
With the dreidels?
Yeah, and then CM Punk said something to him that I thought was derogatory. Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either.
I thought Punk was maybe an anti-Semite. I'm not sure.
It's not over with the crowd tonight.
I'm just saying, Punk. I wasn't too happy with him.
You saw that thing what Punk said, right? At the was cage fighting last night?
Yeah, he was doing commentary and he says, "Oh, I'm bad for the locker room. You don't want me around." Something like that. Kind of making jokes about the fight.
It's what his partner said. Like, don't bring him to post conferences or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that was great.
You shouldn't. The guy is an absolute menace at those press conferences. Okay, so my match of the night was the Fatal 4-Way. John's match of the night, women's match. What's your match of the night?
The trios.
Oh, that was good, too.
That was very good. It was good to see the Elite back.
The Elite coming out to Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas. Fantastic. What an entrance. What an entrance for the Elite. That felt big time. That was the most big-time moment of the whole show. It felt special. The fans chanting, "Fuck CM Punk." That was pretty crazy. Young Bucks are in the ring. Fans chanting, "Fuck CM Punk." That's crazy.
The Bucks are like playing to them as they're doing it.
Oh, they loved it. They loved it. Brandon Cutler was like putting his camera on them as they were chanting, "Fuck CM Punk." Chanting Colt Cabana as well. What a match between Death Triangle and the Elite. These guys are great. Pac is so intense. The intensity of this man is unparalleled. Phoenix didn't want to use the bell hammer, but eventually he got hit with a V-trigger, got set up for the one-winged angel, and Pac had passed him the hammer that they hit the bell with. And Phoenix had no choice. He hit Kenny in the head, did a little victory roll, 1, 2, 3. And the Death Triangle spoil the Elite's return and retain the AEW Trios titles in one of the first of many shockers here tonight at AEW's Full Gear. No one expected Death Triangle to retain tonight, right? AEW, like the Elite were huge favorites. Like we saw there was betting odds. They were like minus 2,000 favorites. It was ridiculous. What the hell is happening?
What is happening? I've heard music.
What the hell's going on here? Are we having a Hanukkah party? A little late on my Hanukkah music. I was talking about Hanukkah like 5 minutes ago. Wait, bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Now I want to celebrate. Where is it? What is this?
Oh,
that's not Hanukkah. Bells. Forget it. That sounded like Halloween.
Sounded like the Undertaker.
All right. I don't know. The production team is fucking with me tonight. John!
What's going on?
What the hell?
Oh, we have music again.
This is not Hanukkah. And he's cutting it. He's cutting it already. What the hell's going on here?
It's a trap Hanukkah.
Going back to Halloween.
Can we talk about the Elite?
We could. I guess we'll get to it.
I think we're going to be interrupted by music again. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. That'll be fun. Oh.
It's a long intro, too, so it's perfect. Perfect to be interrupted by a long intro to a song that may never happen. I'm not even sure if it's going to be a Hanukkah song.
This sounds Christmas.
This sounds pretty Christmassy. Hold on.
It does, yeah.
Let's listen.
Taking Charlie Brown right now.
Oh, it's like a slow-ass version of Dreidel, 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 I made you out of clay.
Yeah, but this makes it sound like sad. Dreidel's a festive song.
Yeah, this is too sad. This is a bummer.
Yeah.
My Dreidel, oh, here we go.
That's klezmer.
Hey! Okay.
It's more upbeat, I guess.
All right. We're going to turn people off with this music. I'm telling you. People are not too happy with Jews these days. People are going to get upset with us. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to turn anybody off of the show, but
what did I do?
Let's just say, I like the other one. Savivon, Sov, Chanukah. You know, that one. That's my favorite.
That's a good one.
Anyways.
So.
Something about the Elite, I think it was.
I think so. I don't know.
They're not Jewish.
They are not. Good Christian boys.
Well,
and
Kenny?
we love them.
Okay.
Kenny is not Jewish either.
And they lost, surprisingly.
I think Ray Phoenix might be, but not
yeah?
not Pentagon. Even though they're brothers. How is that? No, they're not. Not many Mexican Jews, but I'm sure they're out there.
Oh, they've got to be.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe Phoenix and Pentagon are. Who knows? What do I know?
Yeah. They might like gefilte fish.
All right. I feel like maybe Britt Baker, but I'm not sure. Okay. The Death Triangle and the Elite match was very good. Doesn't always mean anything. Yeah. Death Triangle and the Elite. I thought the match was great. Death Triangle, they win the match. They retain the titles, but then we find out tonight that it was only the first of a best-of-7 series that they already have mapped out to tell you where the matches will take place and on what shows. So, I mean, I figure it's going to go 7 matches because they said it's best of 7, and then on the screen they showed you 7, like, AEW Dynamite in this city, AEW Rampage in this city. It's like, oh, okay. Looks like you're going to do all 7 matches. And they even said, and if they go all 7, the final will be at the LA Coliseum. And I'm like, gee, I wonder if they're going to do, Southern California crowning moment for the Young Bucks in Los Angeles.
That doesn't seem obvious at all.
Yeah.
So like, say the Elite win a match, they don't win the titles though off that match. They have to win the series to win the titles, I guess, or
I believe so.
I guess
they wouldn't change hands. Yeah.
But tonight the titles would have changed hands though, no?
Yes.
Like, wasn't that the whole thing? So like, what? Like,
I think it's because of the hammer finish. I thought they were saying. I thought like Excalibur's kind of saying, just due to the controversial finish, Tony Khan is saying this isn't over.
Maybe.
I thought there was something like that, like because of the hammer.
No, John, you make
right.
John, you make a good point.
Yeah.
Because this counted as game 1 in their best of 7 series, and the Death Triangle won, but the belts were on the line. So if the Elite win the next match, which they might, or they're going to win at least 3 matches in this series to push it to 7, because
you would think,
if they win, I don't think they're going to win the belts, even though they would have won the belts tonight had they won game 1. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the idea of a best of series is bullshit. In
Uh,
wrestling, like they have them, and at least there's good.
We've had
a good series like Chris Benoit
and Booker
and
T,
Booker T,
which was done twice.
Sheamus and Cesaro.
They did that in WCW, and it was so good they did it again in WWE. Benoit and Booker
But
T.
the idea that it would go any less than or any fewer than like the max amount is ridiculous. Like they've never done it like. It's never gone to the max. That one went to 5. That was the best of it. Went to 5.
It should be a sweep.
Sheamus and Cesaro went 7.
Yeah, do a best of 7 series and sweep it 4 straight and be like, what the hell did we do that for? What was the point of that? These guys are clearly better. We just had them wrestle 4 matches in a row. Like if the Death Triangle win 2 more, shouldn't they go, okay, maybe we don't need to do this best of 7. They've won 3 in a row.
Then you have the reverse sweep.
It doesn't. Whatever. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but I get what they're doing. They're trying to put on entertaining matches, and I think that this will be good. I don't think we'll have a bad match in the series, and they may get better and better. I mean, I think we'll probably have one that'll just stand out because everything will click on one night, but either way, I think the matches will be great. The match tonight was great. It was a definite standout, one of the best matches of the night. So I'm okay with it, and I think the Elite will win in the end. They didn't win tonight, but at the end of this series, they will. See, when we were previewing this, we didn't know it was a best-of-7 series. Tony Khan's pulling the old switcheroo on us. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought the Elite was going to win, but then, oh, wait a second, they didn't win because it's a best-of-7 series, and that was only game 1.
You know what they call that? A long con.
Oh, he's kind of a short con, though.
How?
Good
Long
stuff,
John?
Good stuff. But we'll have to wait and see.
Long John
You'll
North.
definitely have to wait and see for that.
For what?
But
because you're
find
tall.
out if they're going to win or not.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going
I
to be
said
wild.
the Elite here. Yeah.
Yeah, 7
It's gonna be
weeks
a long
probably.
while.
Maybe 6. I don't know. Several weeks.
Yeah,
It'll
I don't know if
happen.
they'll listen to Rampage in there or not.
I mean, I'm not holding my breath. I know what's going to happen in the end. And even if it doesn't, who cares? Jade Cargill beat Nyla Rose. This was not the match of the night, but it was okay. It happened. You know? Jade hit a nice power bomb there on Nyla Rose. It wasn't so bad.
I mean, it wasn't the best match, far from it, but I mean, it was a typical Jade match. It just, she beat up Nyla Rose, which, you don't usually see her beat up someone who's a pretty big person. And she did that. And she gave her the finish too, which at first I thought, I don't think she'll be able to do it, but she did it.
Jade is strong. Jade is powerful.
Well, Nyla helped there too. I mean, if Nyla doesn't help, that's not going to happen.
Sure. But Jade is pretty damn strong. She's pretty damn impressive. I'm a big fan of Jade Cargill. I think she did well tonight. That match lasting just 8 minutes. One of the shorter matches on this card. A lot of these matches going about 20. The Jungle Boy Luchasaurus match went just under 20. Death Triangle and the Elite just went under 20. The Jericho, Danielson, Claudio 4-way went just over 20. Saraya and Britt Baker, that went 12 and a half minutes. I thought it was perfect. It was exactly what they needed to do. Very good match. I'm not mad at all that Saraya won because she came in looking fantastic.
She did, yeah.
She looked great. She looked like she hadn't missed a step from the last time she wrestled. It was unbelievable. I was really surprised that she was able to come back and be basically the same performer that we remember the last time she was in the ring, which is huge. I mean, we're talking about career-ending injury, several years away. She comes back, and she looks like one of the top women's wrestlers in the game today. I mean, she was when she retired, and she comes back, and she still is. That's impressive. That's really impressive. So she gets the win, a big win, a clean win over Britt Baker. The only kind of shaky moment was that sunset flip powerbomb that Paige did off the top rope. Sorry, Saraya. Right? That sunset flip powerbomb was a little kind of scary, but other than that, match worked out. Didn't love the finish, kind of came out of nowhere, but overall it was a solid outing, and it was what it needed to be. It was a good first test for Saraya to see what she's capable of and what kind of performer we're going to have here going forward, and I think it was a great sign. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm ecstatic with the signing of Saraya because she just delivered tonight, and she showed that she is worth whatever Tony Khan paid for her because she is going to be a big star for AEW. Big. Sky's the limit for her. I don't know what they do with her next, but a feud with Jamie Hayter could work. I don't know if you want to push her towards the top belt right away, especially since Jamie Hayter just won. You might want to give her time. but she does have this kind of built-in program with Britt Baker. I wouldn't be surprised to see Saraya go after Jamie Hayter and the AEW World Championship next. But I could also see Saraya going after Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill hasn't had a legit main event level threat go after her. She's been champion for a long time. She's been undefeated for, over a year now, couple of years. And at this point, it wouldn't be the worst thing for her to lose. I think Jade Cargill is a great talent. I'm a huge fan. But at some point, she's got to lose. And Saraya, to me, looked good enough tonight that to make a big splash in AEW and have her be the one to beat Jade Cargill, that sounds all right to me. I'm good with that. I think Saraya should beat Jade Cargill and then, get into a feud with Jade Cargill. I think it would help Jade Cargill to wrestle a veteran like Saraya, to learn from Saraya and have a long, extended program. And also, Jade needs an opponent. Jade needs an enemy.
Someone to push back.
There's been no feud for Jade Cargill. She is on an island to herself. She's amazing. Look at her. Oh, my God. Jade Cargill. But who is she feuded with that's meant anything? Anna Jay? Nyla Rose?
Weren't they kind of doing something with Chris Statlander that she got injured?
I mean, that wasn't going to lead to anything either. But Saraya could win. Saraya could beat Jade. And I don't think you should be mad at that if she does. Because at some point, Jade's got to lose. And Saraya is at that level that it would be believable. So I'd like to see Saraya go after Jade Cargill next. I was that impressed with Saraya. I mean, you know how much I love Jade Cargill. And I'm telling you that Saraya looks so good tonight. And she's such a star in the wrestling business. So famous. So good at what she does. That she could be the one to beat Jade. We've been looking for the one. Like, Jade's got to lose at some point. But who could actually beat her? Who's legit enough? Who is a star enough? Who is worth it? And you could say, maybe make somebody new off Jade, but I don't think you do that. I think you bring in a legit star that Jade has to actually deal with. Saraya, look great tonight. Congratulations. Welcome back to pro wrestling.
Well, I completely agree with you how Saraya looked tonight. Like, fantastic. Like, looked like she hadn't lost a step. Like, that's her first match in 5 years. Like, just imagine what her next match is going to be like. And, like, I thought Britt, like, she was all right, but, man, Britt lacks intensity. It feels like at some points, like, she doesn't try or she gets lost or something. And her strikes, like, she just doesn't bring it whatsoever. Maybe because she doesn't want to hurt somebody, and it's fine. I get it. Like, she had a bad neck and everything, but, like, if you're working the neck, like, work it. Like, these little, like, powder shots are nothing. And it takes you out of the match a little bit. And I felt like that affected the finish a bit. I felt that Britt got lost, or someone got lost there, because, like, I think they were just supposed to keep hitting moves back and forth. They were supposed to do, like, a WrestleMania match, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seemed like, just keeping your finishes back and forth and until finally someone loses. But it looked like they got lost, or, like, something got miscommunicated, and they didn't know who was doing what. So that's why that came up kind of sloppy, I thought. But it's still fine in the end. Like, I thought Saraya was great. And, yeah, I could see her beat Jade. Makes a lot of sense. Like, you got to have someone, like, strong enough to beat Jade. But I do like just having someone new that AEW, like, produced to beat Jade. Like, they made Jade. Don't bring in someone like Saraya just to make her, like, she's already made.
She's already made, but I think that she could make Jade by beating her and then being in her life, in her career, in that type of way. Beat Jade, but maybe Jade beats you down the road. I just think that you talk about, have somebody young and new beat Jade. Jade hasn't been around for that long. And who else has AEW produced as a homegrown women's talent that is worth anything?
Well, they got to work on that. There's no question about that.
So what? You're going to keep working on that, and until then, Jade Cargill goes undefeated for 5 years? Like, what are we going to, at a certain point, John, you got to say, okay, well, Jade has to lose at some point, and maybe it'll be Saraya. If not Saraya, there's nobody on the roster that really makes sense.
I mean,
maybe Britt, I guess, but like it's those two or nothing, really.
If they didn't make her the champion, you could say like Jamie Hayter. If they wanted to build up her being over with the crowd, like
right?
If she got cheated out of the match tonight or something.
But that's not the case.
That's not the case. No, I even thought like maybe that was what they were doing down the line, but no, they made her the champ.
But that's not the case here. So I think Saraya makes sense as the one to beat Jade. Really?
Like, she could. Just I feel like it's way too soon for her. Like, she just had one match, and we're gonna put the title on her like that quick. Like, it seems way too fast. Like, if she's gonna beat Jade, it's got to be at least a couple months from now. Like, not Revolution. Like, maybe Double or Nothing. But I'd rather see it like all out. But I know that's a long time for you to wait that long.
Time.
I don't think you have to wait that long.
At least Double or Nothing.
I don't know why you're waiting around. She's already established. She's Paige. Everybody knows her. It's Paige.
Yeah,
hey, guys.
You can do more with her. Like, she's still feuding with... Like, she beat Britt once. They could still have more matches. She can wrestle with Jamie Hayter.
Okay. I don't think she should wrestle Jamie Hayter, though. Because she'd have to lose.
Well, she won't. She won't because like there's still that whole unification with the women's championship, right?
Mm-hmm. You know what Jamie Hayter's real name is? You know what her first name is?
What?
Paige.
That's pretty funny.
That's weird, right? They're like, well, what's her real name? Jamie Hayter. It's not her real name. Turns out it's Paige something. How about it? All right. Samoan Joe gets the win over Wardlow and Will Hobbs. Wardlow hit a bunch of power bombs on Hobbs, and then Joe comes into the ring, hits Wardlow with the TNT Championship belt, and then slaps on his submission hold on Hobbs, who was already pretty much unconscious. But because he's in a submission hold now, he gets choked out quickly. The referee calls for the bell, and Samoa Joe is the new TNT champion. I thought this match was pretty good. The pounce that Hobbs hit Joe with outside the ring was devastating.
Oh, that was awesome. That really picked the match up.
Put Joe out for a little bit until the finish. It started off slow, but finished off nice and violent. I liked it. Solid match. Surprise finish. Joe was the biggest underdog to win, I think. We looked at betting odds going into this thing on the preview show last night, and Joe, I think, was the biggest underdog, and he came through. He won. That was a surprise, right?
Well, because he was already a champion going into the match. No one thought they'd have a double champion walking out, and yet he did it. And to me, that just shows you how much they think of Joe right now. Like, he's got to be on Dynamite. He's got to be on that Ring of Honor pay-per-view. They have to use him as much as possible. And I agree with that. I think he is that good. He should be used more.
He seemed like the best wrestler in that match tonight. Wardlow and Hobbs looked a little inexperienced.
Well, compared to Joe, of course. Like, Joe's got like 2 decades on him.
Yeah, but you could just see the level of professionalism there. When Joe was doing stuff and when Hobbs and Wardlow was doing, when they were doing stuff, it was a little bit shaky at times with Hobbs especially.
They're gassed.
Wardlow looked kind of tired at the end too. I don't know. Joe just seemed in charge.
Well, Joe's the kind of guy you could put in like a main event of a pay-per-view and you'd believe in it. The other two, it's like they're mid-card at best. So,
yep.
I mean, if anything, we should have realized, or not underestimated Samoa Joe so much, but they weren't pushing him well enough for us to believe in him. Now, people look at him differently.
Wardlow's TNT title reign has come to an end. I think you got to look at it as a failure.
No, I didn't lose, though. It just goes to show you, you don't need a championship to be, an unstoppable force.
he didn't lose, but he is no longer the champion, and I think that he's less hot now as a character than he was when he won the belt. When he won the belt, people were exciting. People were hyped to see Wardlow become a champion. People were hyped to see what Wardlow was going to do unleashed on his own as a single star. And we've seen it. And it hasn't really gone that well.
Not impressed.
So the Wardlow run as TNT champion, I think you got to look at as a failure. A few months ago, people were calling Wardlow a future world champion in AEW. People were saying Wardlow was one of the breakout stars of AEW. After a couple of months of the TNT title, it really fizzled. And some of it's not his fault. But I think some of it is. He didn't have a great performance in the match tonight. He hasn't had great performances with the TNT title. He hasn't had great promos. So, there's something lacking there with Wardlow. And they take the TNT title off of him. I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's a calculated move because this wasn't working.
We thought Wardlow, at the beginning of this year was maybe the new Goldberg. Turns out he's the new Ryback.
He may be.
Well, I don't think we've gone that far down yet, but we'll wait and see. I don't think they've given up on him.
I mean, Wardlow
he didn't
wishes
lose the match.
I think Ryback might actually have better conditioning.
Ryback had a way bigger career than Wardlow has had, right?
I don't know about the conditioning so much, but okay.
But Ryback had bigger matches.
Yeah.
He did have bigger match, bigger stage.
Yeah.
Different.
Harold Schneider dropping a $5 super chat. He loved the Hanukkah music. He says, love the music. Thanks for staying up. Thank you for staying up with us, Harold. Thank you to everybody tuning in here tonight. Don't forget to subscribe. If you subscribe, you get 5 years good luck. So get it. Tonight only, we're giving 5 years good luck if you subscribe to the channel. So that's
mega bonus offer.
Nice bonus. We don't always give that. We really don't. If you're a regular viewer, you're like, whoa, 5 years good luck? I didn't know he was giving that. You're already subscribed, so you have the good luck built in, courtesy of Super Dave.
And if you're seeing this offer and choose not to subscribe, 5 years bad luck.
That's right. You don't want that.
We have the power.
It's negative. You don't want negative luck. Okay. Other matches. Jeff Jarrett. All right, Slapnuts. Jeff Jarrett and Sting standing in the ring together, and a TNA chant erupts from the crowd. And I don't think it was a positive thing. Jarrett and Sting were kind of like, yeah, TNA, that's right. And the crowd were kind of like, this looks like TNA.
Boo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was a positive thing or not. They took it as one, but anyhow. Sting, Darby did a crazy, he just starts climbing a ladder on the stage, and I'm like, what's this guy doing? And then he does a coffin drop, and it looked like he was aiming for Jeff Jarrett, but he was way off. And Satnam Singh catches him and then kind of tosses him, which was pretty cool. Satnam Singh is a gigantic dude. He was involved in this match sporadically, which I didn't love. These guys were fighting all over the building. Sting did a ridiculous dive.
Oh, my God.
Off, like, some of the seats, down onto Satnam Singh and I think somebody else, maybe Lethal.
I think Dutt was there, too.
And, yeah, Sanjay. And, man, when you first see it, it looks like Sting dove and fell right on his head. It looked terrible. But then all of a sudden, Sting just pops up, and he's, like, beating his chest, and he's like, woo! And you're like, oh, my God. This man is unstoppable.
Not even bleeding.
Yeah, he looked fine. And he was fine. They're fighting all over the building, and it's a big brawl. It's crazy. Satnam's involved, and Sanjay's involved, and Sting is diving off of stuff, and there's weapons and everything. And then eventually, somehow, they all make their way back into the ring, and the guys go back in their corners, and they're like, okay, let's have a regular tag team match now,
so
guys.
Weird.
And they're tagging in and out.
And they're doing isolation and getting ready for the hot
they
tag.
Have to tag, though.
What?
Regardless that it's no DQ, like, there's still the whole legal man. So if you're not legal in the match, like, the pin won't count. Like there's still that rule even in an ODQ match.
Okay, well then explain this. They're doing all this tagging shit, and then Satnam jumps in the ring and chokeslams Sting, and then he's like, yeah, that's enough, and then he just walks away. If it's no DQ, why wouldn't Satnam just leave his 7.5-foot ass in the ring the whole time and keep beating up Sting until he's dead, and then his team can win? It doesn't make any sense. Well, if you can interfere, why not interfere? At one point, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal were beating up on Darby Allin. It was 2-on-1, and Sting was just standing on the apron looking at them. Just looking. Not tagging. Not just catching his breath.
He got tired, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but shit. Your partner's right there getting beat up 2-on-1. There's no rules in this match. Grab a baseball bat and start swinging, old man. What the hell are you doing? This match made absolutely no sense.
Because
you can't go from brawling in the crowd and doing dives that nearly kill you to going back in the ring and being like, tag me, brother, tag me. Let's have a tag team match. It's fucking ridiculous. This match was stupid as fuck, had some cool little spots, but then it completely fell apart when Jay Lethal tried to do his lethal combination and just fell into Sting, who was supposed to, I guess, catch him and Scorpion Death drop him. The only reason I know that was because Excalibur's like, oh, it was a Scorpion Death drop, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. That was Jay Lethal falling on Sting and Sting just crumpling down to the mat. Then Darby Allin comes over and he's like, oh, Sting, are you dead? Oh, no. Okay, Lethal, stay there. And he goes to the top and he's like, boom, coffin drop. 1, 2, 3, and then the match was over. And then Sting looked like he went over and apologized profusely to Darby Allin for botching the finish. Fucking disaster. He didn't botch it. He didn't botch it.
In the four-way, the same thing happened to Jericho. Like, they did the whole, like, Judas effect, and they had to do it again.
Sting apologist over here.
He didn't botch the finish. Match you said
Sting didn't botch the finish. Jay Lethal does his lethal combination. Sting's supposed to catch him. Scorpion Death drop him. Sting, lethal combination, just falls down.
They fall. Okay, fine. They fall. That's what happened. They fell.
Sometimes when you're 60-something years old, maybe you shouldn't wrestle on pay-per-view. Like, okay, it's cool he does a dive and doesn't die. It's cool that he's still doing it. It's cool that he can do certain things. But there are other things that he really can't do. And when he's wrestling Jeff Jarrett and the fans are chanting TNA, it's not a good thing for your wrestling company.
No.
Jericho messed up his finish, but Jericho's still wrestling. He's still the champ.
Jericho didn't really mess it up that bad. It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. It was bad enough. Like
not that bad, John.
Not that
they had to redo the finish. Like at least with Sting, he had to get up and do it again. It still worked.
Not really. Not for me.
No, it did. It worked.
You just love Sting.
No, it definitely didn't work.
It didn't work?
You could say it worked.
No, it looked terrible.
It worked better than Jericho,
but it didn't work. It was perfect. Jericho had to get up and do it again, the finish.
Barely. Did he? I don't think he did.
Yeah, he did. Because he fell.
Yeah.
He hit him in the chest, right? He hit like Claudio in the chest.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he kind of like did it again. Okay.
But it's still fine. Like, it's still okay. Like, not everything's going to be perfect, but you got the idea what he tried to do.
No, you didn't. You only got the idea what Sting was trying to do because Excalibur said Scorpion Death drop.
Jericho.
Yeah, with Jericho, okay, you got the idea. With Sting, it just looked like Jay Lethal fell on him, and Sting just ran out of gas.
So that's why he falls on him. Fine, he fell, and then Darby hit the finish. That still works.
No, he fell and sold. Lethal sold like Sting hit him with a move. Lethal sold.
Well, he sold because he fell into Sting. He still hit Sting. He fell into him.
Jeez. Why are you defending this so hard? I don't understand. It was bad, John.
I'm just saying.
It was a mess.
Jericho can get away with it. Sting can get away with it.
And the lack of rules and logic. What about Satnam Singh deciding to come in and out of the ring whenever he pleased? Why wouldn't he stay?
Well, he's an idiot. What do you want?
Okay.
That's the way it is.
He's just dumb.
He's dumb. Like,
he's just a big dumb guy.
You see the way he walks around? Like, it's hard for him to walk around. So.
What about Sanjay? He's directing traffic in there. He should have more sense.
Is he smarter? I don't know about that.
He's got a pen.
Oh yeah, he's got a pen. That's great. Or pencil.
And what do you need a legal man for? So say there is a legal man, right? And you need one legal man in each team. Why not just have both guys? Why not everybody just fight and then be like, yeah, there's one legal guy. Those guys have to make the pin. Like, it doesn't matter. If there's no disqualification, why make tags?
Yeah, it's tornado.
Tornado tag.
But they didn't say it was a tornado tag.
No,
they
they
said it
didn't.
was a tag team no DQ match.
Yeah, it was stupid. It was a stupid match with no rules and no sense, and a Sting dive and a Sting crumple. At the beginning, Sting looked like a hero. At the end, Sting looked like an old man. And it was sad.
I
And
think it was fine.
all right, fine. Johnny just loves Sting.
Yeah.
What is this? What's happening?
He's he loves his Steve Borden.
He's a little stinger.
Yeah.
Johnny has always loved Sting, even when he was Joker Sting in TNA and it was unbearable.
That was the best thing.
John thought it was, yeah,
The
John
best.
loves it. John has always been a big Sting fan.
Of course, Sting and Triple H, that long-standing debate,
Oh, yeah, John
the
is
right thing
still
to do.
mad that Triple H beat Sting at WrestleMania.
31.
John is still mad.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm sure people are still mad. That's fine. Even though I predicted that it would happen beforehand. And I was like, this is going to happen. I don't understand why you think it's not going to happen. It's Triple H.
I'm not on the Triple H bandwagon.
Well,
Other people are.
you should get on because he runs the wrestling world. Get on the bandwagon.
Wow.
Come on,
not
John.
doing a good job so far.
Well, that's true. Can't argue there. That's true. Okay.
You watch Raw every week. You know.
I do, unfortunately, watch Raw every week for the Wrestling Uncensored audience, the Ringside Report Network. Swerve and the Glory no longer a tag team, I think. The Acclaimed beat them to retain the tag team titles. They hit their finish on Swerve after Keith Lee just left. Keith Lee got ejected from... Well, Keith Lee got sick of Swerve and his nonsense. Swerve had like pliers.
Yeah.
They were
Pliers,
calling them
yeah.
they were calling them clippers, but those were not scissors or clippers of any kind. Those were pliers. And Swerve was teasing using the pliers on the fingers of the Acclaimed. Daddy Ass came out to stop him at one point. He got ejected from ringside. And then Keith Lee was given the pliers by Swerve to use on the Acclaimed, but Lee decided to toss the pliers away, which upset Swerve because Swerve wants Lee to cheat, and Lee doesn't want to cheat, which is a common theme in AEW, by the way. Same story with Pac and Rey Fenix.
Yeah, it's the
Different
exact
result.
same thing.
Yeah. Different result, but same story. Cheat in wrestling. No, I want to play by the rules. You must cheat. No, I'll play by the rules.
Now we are opponents.
Yeah. Pac was like, cheat, use the hammer. Phoenix is like, no, I will not use the hammer. Use the hammer here. You're about to lose. Okay, I'll use the hammer. But then he used the hammer and they won, but he seemed sad that he used the hammer. You know, he seemed disappointed in himself, Rey Fenix. Here with the Acclaimed, Swerve is like, use the hammer, not the hammer, the pliers. And Keith Lee's like, I will not use the pliers, baby. And then
Throw the baby. Why?
I don't know. I threw that in.
Keith Lee's weird.
Keith Lee's a weird guy. Hey, listen here, pal. I will not use the pliers. No, I will not.
Sir.
No. How dare you? Unhand me.
Like, he sounds like Kelsey Grammer. Do a Kelsey
Exactly.
Yeah, basically, Keith Lee
Okay.
should be... We were talking about how Keith Lee either needs to discover that he was Fraser's long-lost son,
Yeah. He
and
needs to
Fraser
be
is his
the
manager father.
son of Fraser. You know, they got to hire Kelsey Grammer to play Fraser, and then we find out that Keith Lee is the long-lost son of Fraser, and that's why he talks in that weird voice, and he sounds like Fraser. You
Honestly, Niles.
ever hear Keith Lee talk? He basically sounds like Fraser. Why does he talk like that? Talks all professor-like? Ridiculous. He's the long-lost son of Fraser. That should be his gimmick.
You know, just like how Veer Venus, long-lost son of Val Venus. You
Exactly.
know, we have good long-lost son storylines.
Long-lost sons are not used enough in pro wrestling, and when they are, it's terrible. Like Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan. That didn't work out.
Jesus Christ.
But I think that if we saw a gimmick that was like, okay, AEW's going to bring in Kelsey Grammer
That's Fraser.
as Fraser,
It'll
as the
cost him
character
$20 million
Fraser. It's
an
gonna cost
appearance.
a lot. and it's just so that he can explain why Keith Lee talks so weird, and he's going to be the father of Keith Lee, and they're going to use Frazier sporadically throughout the year as like Keith Lee's manager. I think we'd say
Get a big pop.
We'd say what? They're going to do what? But I'm telling you, I would like it.
And Keith Lee will start drinking wine, talking about the opera. He'll have a dog named Eddie.
Go ahead, Swerve. I'm listening. You know? That'd be good. Okay, John is not amused. Let's so John is just like
a long show now.
John is like sipping his drink and he's like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
This is Frazier talking.
So Swerve got mad and he slapped Keith Lee. What's a long show? Our show?
Walked out. We are it's getting long now, yeah, I have to say.
Whoa, we're done now.
You
were
complaining before. We're not done yet. We have this match
about
to
you.
get through.
No, we watched all the matches.
Yeah, we covered them all.
Swerve in our glory, the Acclaimed. I mean, more happened. Like, the actual finish happened there.
No. Swerve slapped Keith Lee. Keith Lee got mad. He huffed and puffed, and he walked away, which allowed Swerve to be by himself and the Acclaimed to beat him down and win and retain the tag titles. What else happened?
I have one question. What was Swerve planning to do with those pliers? Was he going to, take out Max Caster's fingernails or something? Like, usually that's used for, or his teeth?
Fingernails.
That's what usually, you do.
That's what he did to Billy Gunn, though. He kidnapped Billy, and he used the pliers and broke his fingers.
Not his fingernails.
Fingers, yeah.
Okay.
Because usually, as a torture thing, you use pliers to, remove the nails, which is, a lot more painful than, breaking the fingers.
Ouch.
Well, that's why, Billy Gunn, had his hands taped. It's because of that.
That's pretty brutal.
Okay. Well, so Swerve and the Glory broke up. I think that's the main story out of this match. What else happened in this match you want to talk about, John? It was good.
Well, Billy Gunn came out for a little bit, had an appearance. To me, I don't know about you guys, Billy Gunn had one of the biggest pops of the night. It's crazy how over he is.
People love Daddy Ass.
I mean, he should actually wrestle more often, I think.
Yeah.
He might.
They talked about Bowens being hurt and maybe selling that shoulder injury. I thought that they were just going to replace Bowens tonight with Daddy Ass. Couldn't it be like New Day rules where Daddy Ass could defend the tag titles too?
That's a great idea. That should probably happen, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I have great ideas, John, all the time. The pre-show, we had Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Rocky Romero, and Danhausen beating QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, Lee Johnson, Nick Camarado, and Cole Carter. Danhausen came in mid-match and seemed to have a more serious vibe to him, and he won the match after dumping a jar of teeth on Aaron Solo, which didn't seem legal, but I guess it is.
Well, he pinned Camarado, didn't he?
Was it Camarado he did that to? Whatever.
All jabronis.
Who cares? But Danhausen seemed to have a little bit of a reboot tonight, right?
I guess he's Evil Hausen now or something, or
yeah, he's more evil. Less nice, more evil. I think it's good. He needs something. He's just playing kind of second banana to Orange Cassidy. That's not good.
And Orange Cassidy, I guess, is going to feud with Jake Hager now.
Second banana to Orange.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Yeah, Orange is going to wrestle Jake Hager. There was some sort of challenge, right? Jericho's going to wrestle Satoshi Ishii. Jericho's going to defend the Ring of Honor. Tomohiro Ishii. Jericho's going to defend the Ring of Honor title against Ishii on Wednesday night. Satoshi Ishii was a MMA fighter. Tomohiro is the wrestler. So they're going to wrestle Wednesday night, and Orange Cassidy made the challenge, and then Orange and Jake Hager are going to wrestle, and Orange said next week. I don't know on what show. I don't know what he meant.
I don't think they know.
Okay. So it'll be Orange and Jake Hager at some point next week on AEW TV for the All-Atlantic Championship.
It was a weird promo, too. It looked like they were kind of complimenting each other. I like your hat. Let's fight. Okay.
Yeah.
It was very, casual. I don't know what Hager's gimmick is now with the hat and being all, hip or cool.
It's the hat that Daniel Garcia had, I think. I don't know. Hager just likes the hat. Hager doesn't have much going on.
No, he really doesn't.
He's got a hat. That's all he's got.
He's got a new hat.
By the way, wouldn't have made sense in the 4-way if Daniel Garcia was in that match, because it would have played more into that whole like Daniel Garcia, is he with Jericho or is he with the Blackpool Combat Club?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that play better in the story for that match?
What happened to that guy?
Is he injured?
Yeah, he kind of just disappeared or something. But he's still there, but he kind of disappeared.
Like,
However,
the whole thing was about him, and I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but in the end, I think it's because Sammy. It's a better match with Sammy, and I agree with that. Sammy makes it a better match. There's no question. But the story-wise, it would have fit better with Daniel Garcia.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. I thought the match was really good, though. Again, that was my match of the night. Ricky Starks beat Brian Cage to advance to the finals of the World Title Tournament. He'll take on Ethan Page. Beats a guy named Cage. Now he'll take on a guy named Page. And it'll be Starks and Page on Wednesday night. The winner takes on the new AEW World Champion MJF at AEW's Winter is Coming. So definitely interesting matchup. And I could see them going either way. Like, I know we predicted Ethan Page to win the whole thing at the end. But MJF tonight with Regal maybe turning heel again. Like, I know he came in, he was getting cheered, he was the babyface tonight. He's been getting babyface reactions. But maybe with Regal, he turns heel. But I don't know. I think he maybe stays babyface at this point. I could see him continuing the feud with the Firm and going up against Ethan Page. But at the same time, if they want to maintain that heel MJF, I could see Ricky Starks going up and challenging for the belt. So I could see that match going either way, depending on what the direction is going to be for MJF. Because right now he's realigned himself. He's got Regal. It's a completely different version of MJF that we'll see on Wednesday night. He's the champion, and he's got Regal. So whatever he was last week is not going to be what he is coming up on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to seeing what this next stage of MJF is going to be, because clearly it's going to be something different than what he's been his whole career. He's got Regal in his corner, and he's a world champion. So it's a different version for sure.
Tone shift.
So it's hard to predict either Starks or Page. It really depends on what the character direction is for MJF right now.
Well, also they delayed this because Ricky Starks couldn't wrestle that match with Archer until this past Friday. So, I mean, if they have to delay it just so he could get into the finals, maybe that's kind of telling that they wanted him to make sure he'd win the finals.
Good point. That is a good point. So maybe leaning towards Ricky Starks, which could be. Definitely could be. And Eddie Kingston beat Jun Akiyama via pinfall after a spinning back fist. Eddie cried and bowed to Akiyama after the match. Very emotional match for Eddie Kingston. Got a little promo afterwards. Yeah, I'm not super well versed in the history of Jun Akiyama, so I was not as into it as some other people were. But happy for Eddie Kingston that he had his little moment there on the show. It's nice to see guys recognizing the history and the people that they admire in professional wrestling, even though I'm not super aware of them. It's, I commend Eddie Kingston for having that respect for the business. So, cool. It's not my style.
I missed that match. I forgot that was on the pre-show because they added it late. I saw the other two matches because I remember that was announced, but they announced that very late on Rampage, so I forgot about that one. So I'm like, oh wait, yeah, there was a match. Okay, Eddie Kingston won the match. That's nice.
It didn't really register for me. It wasn't my favorite match.
A lot of chops.
A lot of chops that didn't seem all that impactful.
Yeah, a lot going like, ah!
A lot of these.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. The Japanese thing.
Those suck. Yeah. Hit me like this all day. It doesn't make a difference. Give me one of these. Give me a whack. That
takes the air out of you.
How about a Chris Benoit knife edge?
Oh man,
devastating.
God damn, how did people take that like night after night?
I mean, I just gave you one, and it was not even that hard, and you were wearing a shirt, and I'm not Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Like, my heart's vibrating.
Sorry.
It's okay, but just like, oh man.
It was just a demonstration for John.
It's fun for the rest of the people watching too, so it's good.
Everybody likes to see me hit people.
Like you're told, okay, you're doing a weekend loop with Benoit. You're going to wrestle 3 matches with Benoit this week. It's like,
Yeah. Better do some extra steroids so my chest doesn't cave in.
Yeah. Did you work out today?
Oh my god.
So any fallout from the post media scrum? No.
Yeah,
News
last time for all
really
that, we
notes?
didn't know till afterwards.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know, John.
maybe it's good you check just a little bit, because who knows?
Well,
Like I mean, I'm thinking again. We kind of talked about this. Like the elite, like I'm sure they're going to be asked a bunch of questions, and I'm sure they'll have some interesting answers if they're actually going to talk.
Okay, let me give you some news from the scrum as we wrap up. Jamie Hayter. The
Not talking about big
Acclaimed.
champions.
MJF. Tony
Whoa.
Khan. Wrestling Observer giving out some information. MJF interrupted Tony Khan. Wow, MJF apparently talked a lot of shit about Tony Khan, said a lot of mean things about Tony Khan, kind of interrupted, did like a shoot-style interruption of the post-scrum. So MJF cut a little promo, which is probably something worth watching. The Acclaimed.
Said some things.
The Acclaimed were there. Soraya was there.
Oh, that should be good.
She had a lot of work and check-ins before the match today. She says she's stepping out of character a bit, but Britt helped carry her through the process and called Britt a star. So that's nice.
Wow.
Obviously some contentious promos leading into it, but obviously backstage things were nice between them. So that's good. It's good when we see some promos that seem a little, close to the vest on TV, but then you find out at the post-media scrum that was all for the show and they're actually cool.
yeah.
That's not what we always see from these scrums. You see promos that are kind of rough, and then you're like, ooh, that seemed kind of rough. And then after the scrum, it's like, yeah, actually, I really do hate that guy. Fuck them, they're children, and I'm going to eat a cake.
Empty-headed dumb fuck.
Empty-headed fuck.
Dumb F, yeah.
Yeah.
Cake.
Jamie Hayter open to wrestling Britt Baker for the title, says she's great friends, but willing to do it.
What about Thunder?
No talk on Thunder Rosa.
I wonder what's up with that.
Oh,
Um,
because she broke her nose too. That's something too. There's history there.
yeah. Tony Khan says he's been in contact with Hangman Page and Adam Cole, but has no update on their return. Also didn't mention when Miro or Andrade would be back.
Super chat.
So Hangman and Adam Cole apparently still dealing with concussions. That's the word on Cole. And, of course, Hangman, we saw what happened to him a few weeks ago with Jon Moxley having to leave after getting knocked out. Hope Hangman can come back soon. That was devastating. Hangman MJF, you would think, would be a big-time feud for AEW going forward. So
Yeah. But I mean, that's rough. I mean, both of them. I mean, Adam Cole, like, how long is it? He hasn't wrestled since Forbidden Door. That was June.
yeah.
So this is really bad. You got to start worrying about, his career ending possibly.
Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. Shout out to Doug and Nick out in Kingston, Ontario. Doug is the new super chat leader of the night. He says, thanks again, guys. Hardest workers in wrestling MMA. Elon Musk algorithm. Yes, thank you, Elon.
You're working harder than Elon?
Well, I think he's just writing Elon Musk so that the algorithm works and more people watch us.
Huh.
I think if you mention Elon's name, people kind of tune in, or Elon promotes you. I don't know.
Like if you say like Jake Paul a lot, or like
if you
Logan
say
Paul.
Logan Paul, we just got 50 new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, all our Logan Paul fans.
Something?
What? Yeah. If you say Logan Paul three times, you get more subscribers on your YouTube
Mr.
channel.
Beast.
That's how it works. Mr. Beast, Unspeakable, Logan Paul, Mongo, and Wudo. Oh, Mongo and Wudo. Those bastards. Oh, God. I think we should stop talking about wrestling, John, and just play Minecraft on YouTube because that seems to be where the money is. Anyways.
Oh, I
Funny
can't
how that
stand
works.
Minecraft.
I've never played Minecraft.
Looks tedious.
But my son's never played Minecraft, but he watches these guys that play Minecraft, and they're really annoying. They're kind of funny. Mongo and Wudo,
But
I kind of like them, but I also
for the
don't like them.
viewership, it's like, what the hell?
Well, I think the viewership is 5-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. And they just watch it over and over again. Yeah, it works. Anyways, Tony Khan says the Elite have come back in their previous roles and have assumed the responsibilities that they had before, like the video games and backstage stuff. Great to have them back on screen and behind the scenes. So, happy with the Elite coming back. Same old Elite, same old spot in AEW. Tony Khan says still optimistic about getting a weekly Ring of Honor TV deal. Okay. Tony Khan says CM Punk never asked for Colt Cabana to be removed from the AEW locker room. Okay. But he does say he thought that the Jericho Cabana match made a lot of sense given the other champions Jericho had faced. Tony Khan says he was 2-0 in Ring of Honor, so the booking made sense.
Oh, come on.
For Colt Cabana. Okay. Okay.
I think Jericho helped push that, but whatever.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, but Tony Khan is not copping to that. He says that he's got different options with a weekly Ring of Honor show, and it could even be on YouTube. I mean, that's basically AEW Dark at that point. Okay. So nothing major so far?
Nothing on Punk, really, except for that what you just said right there.
Yeah. Nothing major on
Nothing on the video game, too?
Nothing really, other than we saw a commercial for it tonight. There's a little bit more footage, and it's coming out 2023. So we just wait.
And they did take Punk off the cover.
Yeah, Punk did not seem to be in any of the artwork. I wonder if he'll be in the game. I hope you keep him as a character in the game. I mean, come on.
I mean, you made him. Why erase him? Like, yeah.
Although I feel like the year he left the WWE, he was in that year's game, and he might have filed a lawsuit. Saying, like, hey, you shouldn't have done that.
Maybe. Don't you get money, too, if you're in the game?
You're supposed to.
Yeah, I feel like you're supposed to get money, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they don't want to give him money.
New merch for him, too, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Must have some action figures in the pipeline, too.
I mean, they're putting out new Cody Rhodes action figures because they had them prepared and they haven't canceled them. AEW had Cody Rhodes action figures, made and ready for release, and they've released them since he's been in WWE. Whereas WWE had a Jeff Jarrett action figure, an Ultimate Jeff Jarrett action figure that they were planning on releasing, I think, in the next couple of months. They canceled it. Doesn't exist anymore.
Take that personally.
Yeah, WWE takes it a little more personally than AEW does. AEW is like, we'll take it. WWE's like, no, damn it.
You work
for but us. Cody still, kind of is with AEW in a sense. Like, he's still at the Nightmare Factory.
Yeah.
So, he still has ties with AEW. Always will, in a sense. Like, his brother's still there.
Yeah.
His brother, Niles. Goldust. Dustin.
Who's that make Daphne?
Brandy. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, baby. I hear the blues are calling. The show is over, John. Thank you. Thank you.
It was a fun time, guys. Fun time.
Good night, Seattle. We love you. That's it. I'll be back probably at some point in the future, the near future. When?
There'll be another post show.
I don't want to tell you. I'm not telling you.
Next week.
Okay, I'll tell you when. No, I'll be back Thursday. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, we'll be back for post show next Saturday, no?
Yeah, next Saturday we'll do another post show for Survivor Series War Games.
Oh, God.
War Games.
Sunshine.
Got to bring Regal back just so he can say War Games.
He leaves.
He leaves, yeah.
No, they use, I think, Dusty's thing now. Because Dusty used to say it, right? So
War Games, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
Dusty's
good.
War
I like
Games was
that.
the real War Games. War Games. Okay.
That's
So
true,
we'll be previewing the War Games on Friday night. I'll be back here Thursday night with Freddie and AJ to talk about fighting. Thursday night, 8 p.m., Ringside Report MMA. UFC card tonight. They canceled the main event. Well, not tonight. It was in the afternoon. They canceled the main event while the show was going on. Derek Lewis got sick.
Happened?
Something happened. Derek Lewis got sick. He had to go to the hospital. He's okay. But it was supposed to be Derek Lewis, Sergey Spivak in the main event. I'm watching the prelims, and the guys come on. They're like, oh, Derek Lewis is sick. The main event is canceled. Like, what? And the card was already weak as fuck. So they made it even worse, and then I was like, all right, well, this sucks. I barely watched the UFC today because I was really in it for Spivak and Lewis, and then the fight got canceled. That's not something that happens every day or even ever before. I cannot remember the time when a UFC main event got canceled during the show, but that happened today. And we'll talk about that Thursday night, 8 p.m. on Ringside Report MMA. Then Johnny and I will be back Friday night, 10 p.m. for Wrestling Uncensored. We'll preview Survivor Series. And then next Saturday, the whole crew will be back right after Survivor Series to recap and review, give you our match of the night, our score on 10, and all of that good stuff right here on the Ringside Report Network. Just to recap our show tonight, my score on 10 for the AEW Full Gear show was a 7.5. Johnny's was a 7.
7
Yours was a 7. My match of the night was a fatal 4-way, Jericho over Danielson, Castagnoli, and Guevara. Your match of the night was a Death Triangle over the Elite, and Johnny North's match of the night was Jamie Hayter over Tony Storm to become the new AEW Interim Women's Champion. A big shout-out to Harold Schneider and Doug Hepburn. Doug, you are our Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you, Doug. Donate.ringsidereport.net or join.ringsidereport.net if you want to support the Ringside Report further. If you are not a member yet, definitely join up and subscribe to the channel. Remember, tonight only, 5 years good luck when you subscribe to the Ringside Report Network. This has been the Full Gear Post Show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again real soon.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.